Welcome back. We're watching that clock as it ticks down to a possible government shutdown. Joining me now to talk about this fast-changing situation is House Assistant Minority Leader Congressman James Clyburn. Congressman, thank you very much for being here.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
What are the odds that this does not happen?
It's like 50-50, I suspect, if you're a betting person. But in politics, to me, so much is about feelings. I don't think there's going to be a shutdown tonight.
You think you'll get a deal on the full year, or it'll be another continuing resolution?
I would bet on another continuing resolution. I think that we're close to a deal that would run us to September 30th. I don't think we're there yet. I think that for something that big, you got to think about the House rules. How long will it lay over? How long will you have time for staffs to work on it? So I wouldn't be a bit surprised to see us do another week and get it done sometimes next week.
Now, the House passed yesterday a week continuing resolution that cut $12 billion. Right. It funded the Pentagon for the rest of the year and also had two riders, one about Guantanamo Bay and one about D.C. Funding for abortions.
Right.
Is that a starter?
No. I think the Senate will send us something back that I'm hopeful that would be cleaner than that.
What was the problem with that?
Well, you know, why would you say to a clinic that's out there taking care of little children with smashed fingers and everything else that if abortions are performed with private funds, you cannot get any federal money? I mean, that's ridiculous.
But, Congressman, this law was in effect for 14 years.
And the law is still in effect, and longer than that. I'm
talking just specifically for D.C. For D.C. Well, and many Democrats voted for this as a part of a rider on another funding bill in the past.
I was not one of them, and I'm not going to be one. I do believe that these community health centers, these clinics, are very good. You may know that I was a champion when we put together the recovery package and when we did health care reform. I fought very hard for community health centers, and I don't want to see us put anything out there that says you cannot give federal funds to a community health center if there is some other funding source for women's health issues.
Okay, but even though this was non-controversial in years past, it's now a sticking point on this continuing resolution that was passed yesterday.
No, I don't think. This has always been controversial ever since I've been here. Do you remember how long it took us to do the health care because language regarding whether or not the language we had was sufficient for the Catholic bishops on the question of abortion? But my good friend Brad Stupak, I think, and I say good friend, he is a very good friend, and I think that a lot of the he's not in the Congress today because he just got fed up having to fight that battle.
Okay, last thing on this. I mean, Senator Obama, now President Obama, voted for this exact same thing twice as a part of a funding bill that was tied to it.
Well, I think that one of the things you'll find, especially among Democrats, a lot of times when the issue is so big for the rest of the country, we're not going to let our one little ideological problem stop us from voting for something.
Okay, so
we will commend that to my Republican friends as well.
So you'll say that you think a clean continuing resolution will take you through next week, and you expect that to happen, what, within the next hour, 2 hours?
Well, I don't know. I think I expect it to happen before 12 o'clock midnight.
And then for the rest of the year, are there still major sticking points?
Well, I don't know, because I've not been in the room. But I do know that we must say to cities and counties, to contractors, that you're going to be able to plan for the rest of your year. And so we've got to stop this 1 week, 2 week stuff. We got to do something for the long haul. And I think that people are beginning to see that we need to do it.
And you know that people at home are looking at a $14 trillion debt and saying, we're arguing here about $6-7 billion.
In fact, I think we're arguing about less than that. But I will say to your listeners, we've gone more than halfway. $78 billion we've agreed to in cuts. And that's $78 billion beyond where we were. Now, it's about time for my Republican friends to meet us on this step. I always say, if this is between me and an opponent on any issue, or 3 steps, I don't mind taking 3 of them. But I'm not going to take all 5. And that's what the Republicans seem to want us to take, all the steps. It's time for them to take a couple steps.
All right, Congressman, thank you. We'll be following it all night long.
Thank you. I hope not long.
I hope not either.